This is a Republic notice. This is 2 Thessalonians 2:11, part 2 of the strong delusion. Now, in the first part, I offered information on the truth of the Antichrist and the truth of the public who have supported this Antichrist for 100 years. And they are part of the Antichrist regime that put forth the idols and was elected by mob rule. And they burned their idols of the cross, the white robes, the horse, and then they put the image in film and called it Birth of a New Nation. This was 1913. Okay, it's 2013. Okay, now, a lot of people in 2013, these same people who've been consenting for 100 years in each generation, the same people who saw President Kennedy head blown off in the baby boomer age group, and now they're calling themselves Tea Parties, but they saw President Kennedy head blown off in daylight. So they knew this country was being hijacked. And they said, okay, I'm just going to baby boom my ass and, get what I can get. And I just want my privileges of being white and all white senates and all white governors and my white suburban neighborhoods and my Subaru. And I want to dance to the Motown music off beat, but I don't want them to hold office. So I'm going to fight by mob rule and join the majority to fight against them ever holding office. So I'm going to consent that I have no constitutional rights because I'm going to fight what I know is constitutional citizens who happen to be Black Americans. I'm going to pretend that the Constitution is based on only whites can be senators and only whites can be governors and only whites can hold this and only whites can be privileged and only whites can live in nice neighborhoods and only whites can go to the top schools and only whites can be the ones who are not harassed by the cops. Another thing, you saw these dogs sicked on teenagers with fire hoses, cops beating them in the head, dogs biting them. You saw the teenage Black Panthers who were standing up for constitutionality at 18 and 19 and their Second Amendment rights. And you saw them as a threat just because they were standing up for their constitutional rights. Because evidently you felt as though they didn't deserve them with your mob rule and your white privilege, your white privilege of your all-white senates in every state, all-white governors in every state, that you had to have two whites, even if it was corporate and foreign. You got to have a corporate white senator and a foreign white senator. So you voted corporate and foreign just to make sure that you would abridge the constitutional 15th Amendment, which is the supreme vote that's automated by energy anyway, that non-consented all them white hijacked senates. So it kept it away from our constitutionality. So you voted corporate and foreign debt outside of any constitutional protections for 100 years, and you passed on your will based on this, and you passed on your inheritance, and you went to your sun tanning booths and your swimming pools and your vacations and bought your second home and your log cabin home and your little boats and your little transportation and your little diamond rings and your little closet full of clothes and your vacation and your traveling and your beautiful homes, and you did it all. You did it all following Woodrow Wilson, didn't you? Now here we go, spin it up to 2013. A mixed man gets in office, and all of a sudden he been in there by 2013, 4.5 years. Now he's responsible for your last 100 years of evil. He's responsible for you consenting to the military-industrial complex that came with Woodrow Wilson. The military-industrial complex didn't come with President Obama. The military-industrial complex came with Woodrow Wilson with World War, when he managed to get y'all mob ruling and Ku Klux Klan and birthing y'all new parasitic privilege regime that based everything on white supremacy. And you followed him. That's why you voted all white senates, all white governors, all white presidents, because you was gung-ho with white supremacy. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been all white senates and all white governors and all white this and all white that, all white neighborhoods and all white schools and all white that, and these arguments about, oh, why do we have to set aside anything for blacks, and why should blacks get welfare, and why should blacks get affirmative action, why should blacks have their own colleges, and why should this? If you listen to my other video called The Secret from Unplugging from the Patrix, not Matrix, you will see, you're talking about why we getting our own wealth, okay? You can see it right here. You was like, why do they have to have affirmative action of their own wealth? Why do they have to have affirmative action and set-asides of their own wealth? Why do they have to have welfare of their own wealth? And your same Tea Party supposed to be GOP, whatever the hell that is. No, you complain about abortions, period. Then you turn around and complain when somebody named Angel have 16 babies. And she says, somebody gonna pay for all this. Because, see, this girl knows this is her children's 14th rights. And, that their wealth is written in the Constitution. See, she knows that somewhere deep inside, no matter how she seemed to come off. But you can look at these 16 children and you say, why do I have to take care of them? Duh, you on her 14th hijacking it with your all-white Woodrow Wilson military industrial complex. See, you want to blame President Obama for your innate evil to consent to everything just to have your all-white cotton ball delusion, okay? You didn't care about any evil you consented to as long as you had your unconstitutional, all-white, delusional cotton ball senates and governors. And you're mostly Catholic imported, all white cops and Irish and Italian. And you all on public television talking about how you're going to cook. How you're going to cook your Italian, and you're going to cook your Irish, and you're going to cook your Chinese, and you're going to cook your Cambodian, and you're going to cook this, and you're going to cook that. Well, you're all part of the public body of the Antichrist that consented 100 years to the Antichrist while calling yourself evangelical Christians and fundamentals and Catholics, okay? And Muslims, okay? That's here. Here we got this latest import of these Muslims taking up all the space in Dearborn, Michigan. They in their public domain. I mean, they on Easy Street. They're rich and that. They done contract rich. And they over here in America, consenting to the military industrial complex that's bombing their children and their other Muslim relatives and creating depleted uranium babies, okay? They here consenting it all in Dearborn, Michigan, in their little smooth neighborhoods and their little garb, holier than thou, but they consent to the Antichrist because they part of that same public that pretends they have constitutionality just because their father, Satan, told them that they can come to a country and get automatic rights. A 2-year-old child wouldn't even believe that. And the only reason anybody else believe it is because they wanted the delusion that they defecated daisies, okay? Yeah, your defecation must be daisies, that you're going to come to a country and just have birthrights. And as long as you open your legs and squat out a baby. You wanted strong delusions because you're evil enough to want a strong delusion. And your heart is dirty enough to want a strong delusion. Yet all of you watched, including this next set of Hispanics they bringing in. They want strong delusions. They want strong delusions that they're going to overtop the Constitution, that they're going to demand their human rights in the country while they violating and telling this country it has no God, sovereignty, no borders. But yet they want the sovereignty of themselves. They want strong delusion. They all the public, they want strong delusions. They part of the Babylon mother whore that contracts with the U.S. corporation, and the U.S. corporation don't have one amendment. But see, all the public is the Babylon mother whore children. The Republic is Black American Judas, and Ephraim heirs. Now, we got Ephraim heirs that's in our Constitution of all different races and all different nations. So it's not a race thing. It's a God thing and a holy thing. And it's signed, sealed. And it's a narrow path, okay? It's a narrow path that the delusional public don't want. The delusional public talking about blacks voted for Obama because he was black. Well, you know, if you're going through the electoral college, most of the electoral college is your white senators. Now, blacks so-called may have did, if you're going by that, if you're going by your hijacked government, most of your electoral college, so-called, is white. If you're going by the truth of the constitutionality, blacks didn't even have to go into a voting booth because really they non-consent to all that nonsense. They still under the old-fashioned way before the 17th and 18th, 19th, and all that other stuff that came after the 1871 mule, you know? So the truth of it is their vote is already in the Constitution. They're the true government that your strong delusion wanted to deny. They're the true wealth holders that your strong delusion wanted to deny. And you're the true debtors, no matter how much you go to church. And you're the true evil, no matter how much you accuse Obama, who's been in there 5 years. All this evil has been accumulating 500 years. And when it was put towards correction by 1870 to give the world a chance, the world didn't want that chance. And by 1913, pretty much the Catholic Church, the banksters, had most of you public wanting to serve the Antichrist and the military-industrial complex. And then you still rah-rahing about this military-industrial complex that Woodrow Wilson created, then wondering why the soldiers in 2013 are being looked at with suspicious. Because those who set up the system know that these soldiers wanted to follow falsehood. They know that these soldiers wanted a strong delusion. Because if they wanted a real, and they was real soldiers, then our borders wouldn't look like a Broad Street wide open whore. The fact that our borders is a Broad Street wide open whore, I don't know who these soldiers supposed to serve. They not serving the Constitution of America. I mean, a 10-year-old with common sense would know if they serving the Constitution of America, our borders wouldn't be open like some Broad Street prostitute or whore for anyone to walk into. So they clearly not serving America, and they haven't been serving in America since Vietnam. So, I mean, or even possibly before that. So whatever comes upon these soldiers, you know, your military-industrial complex is the phallus you sucked. If you were serving true America, you would make sure black Americans, who are the constitutional citizens, are protected and their borders are protected. I would say Sheriff Arpaio had more soldiering in himself trying to protect the sovereignty of Arizona and the land than any soldier I've seen. And I don't particularly care for Sheriff Arpaio fighting of President Obama, because President Obama, through Michelle Obama, is constitutional. Michelle Obama, whether you like it or not, is a constitutional citizen. And President Obama have children with her. His blood is in the Constitution. Now, if you want him checkmated, you're going to have to get rid of this hijacked Senate and declare that blacks are the real checkmate and the constitutional government that has built-in non-consent jurisdiction and power to balance out President Obama. Okay? You're going to have to declare that the Black Caucus is not some set-aside caucus. They're the real national constitutional citizens that makes them national, and they need to be told to do their job to balance the power with President Obama. And y'all need to get rid of the notion of this all-white hijacked, done contracted Woodrow Wilson mob mentality. Don't you have a sense of a 10-year-old to know what a republic is, or are you that strong in delusion? Don't you know when you go to a court and you have a jury, that if one jury objects, you have to go with him because it's like a republic minority, that the other 11 jurors can't move forward? Are you that strong in your delusion that you think just because you mob white that the Constitution is going to disappear? I mean, are you that strong in your delusion that you can't comprehend like a 10 or 12-year-old to know what a republic is that respects and supremes the minority like you would in handling a jury? See, you're the evil. Now, you don't want to hear that because you need to repent. You need to stop looking so hard at President Obama and look at your all-white Senates, if you're 40, 50, 60, that you participated in, because you got a lot of blood and evil on your hands. And that blood and evil on your hands, if you don't repent, you're going to go to a second death. Not only are you going to face hell on earth, but you're going to go to a second death holding on to your delusion. Okay? Them soldiers going to get what they deserve because they don't serve the United States, and the Veterans Administration that belong to the Constitution really don't owe them nothing. They hoard for the military-industrial complex. They ain't protect our borders.
This is Mary Omni from the House of King David. Shalom.